You know what's funny? You're not even trying to bother them, yet they can't sleep at night. The thought of you is louder than their alarms. They roll over at 2 a.m., sweating, scrolling, searching, hoping your name didn't pop up again. But it did. It always does. See, they thought your story ended chapters ago. They swore you were done, buried, forgotten. But every time they blink, you show up brighter, stronger, unbothered. You didn't just bounce back. You rewrote the ending they scripted for you. Now you are the shadow in their room, the face behind their nightmares. You're not haunting them because you're bitter. You're haunting them because you exist, still winning, still climbing, still smiling in silence. And that silence, that's the punchline. They light candles, burn sage, pray to anything that'll listen, but nothing erases you, because your glow isn't a phase, it's a permanent headline, replaying in their minds like a horror movie they can't turn off. You're not chasing them. You're not even speaking to them. Yet every victory you collect drags them deeper into the nightmare. And the cruelest part, you don't even care. You're too busy winning. You're not just in their thoughts. You remodeled the place. You walked right into their heads, ripped up the carpet, hung a chandelier, and started throwing parties they can't shut down. And the crazy part, they sent you the invitation without even knowing it. Every insult, every rumor, every smirk they threw your way was an open door, and you walked through it like you owned the property. Now, you don't just live rent-free, you upgraded. You've got equity in their mind. Every time your name gets mentioned, they flinch like someone threw a brick through their window. Every laugh you post echoes in their chest. Every win you share rattles their walls. They try to scroll past you, but your presence is sticky. You linger, you replay. You're that song they can't get out of their head, no matter how hard they try. And the irony, they built the playlist. You're not haunting them on purpose. You're simply existing, but your existence alone has become their alarm clock, their jump scare, their reminder that the one they counted out became the one they can't stop counting on. They look at you now and think you just appeared out of nowhere, like success fell into your lap overnight. What they'll never admit is that you were forged in the kind of fire they couldn't survive. You weren't built in comfort. You were built in betrayal, in loneliness, in those late night breakdowns no one ever saw. They thought the pain would break you, the silence would erase you, the gossip would bury you. But instead, every cut sharpened you. Every loss became a lesson. Every closed door became a detour straight to your breakthrough. You turned humiliation into momentum. You recycled rejection into redirection. You took every single time they laughed at you and stored it like fuel, waiting for the day you'd flip the switch. And now, here you are, burning brighter than they ever expected. What they'll never understand is that the version of you standing here didn't come easy. It came from scars, from patience, from walking through hell with no map and still finding a way out. They don't get it because they never lived it, but you did. And that's why you're unstoppable. They wrote you off like a failed story. In their script, you were supposed to fade away, stay broken, stay small, but instead, you flipped the entire plot. You didn't just come back, You came back as the twist they never saw coming. They painted you as the villain. They whispered your name with pity, with smug little grins, certain that your chapter was closed. But the universe had other plans, and now the same people who once laughed at your silence are stuck watching the noise of your success. Every win you stack is a jump scare to their ego. They pretend they're not watching, but every notification, every photo, every accomplishment slaps them like cold water in the face. They told themselves you'd crumble, but instead you stood up taller than ever. See, they thought they were closing the book on you, but really they were just writing your introduction. And now, page by page, headline by headline, you're proving that the villain they created turned into the hero they'll never be able to forget. They'll never admit it out loud, but you became their secret hobby. The first thing they do in the morning, check if you slipped up. The last thing they do at night, scroll through your wins like it's a horror film they can't stop watching. They tell people they don't care, but their search history exposes the truth. They study your moves like detectives, dissecting every post, every smile, every silence, trying to decode how you keep rising when they swore you were finished. In public, they downplay you. They roll their eyes, crack weak jokes, act unbothered. But in private, they're obsessed. They replay your glow up like it's a movie they paid to see but hate to admit they enjoy. And the irony is painful. The same ones who tried to erase you are now your biggest spectators. They built their identity on seeing you lose. Now that you keep winning, they're trapped in their own disappointment. It's not that they can't stop watching you, it's that they don't know how. The wildest part, you didn't even fight back. You didn't clap, scream, or beg for revenge. You just chose peace, and that peace is louder than any comeback could ever be. Your silence became a weapon. Your calm became chaos in their world. They expected explosions. They expected you to crumble, to lash out, to prove them right. Instead, you smiled, leveled up quietly, and let your results speak louder than your pain. And that drives them mad, because they can't compete with peace. They can mimic your style, copy your words, even steal your ideas, but they can't duplicate your energy. You turn traps into trophies. Every attempt to bury you became fertilizer for your growth. Every storm they wished on you grew roots you didn't even know you had. Now, while they're still gossiping in circles, you're building gardens in silence. Your peace became their punishment. Your glow became their ghost. And the louder your calm gets, the more their world shakes. Because nothing terrifies them more than someone who refuses to be broken. They wanted a breakdown. They wanted you shattered, crawling, begging for air. But what they got was a resurrection. You didn't just heal, you rebuilt, stronger, sharper, untouchable. The version of you that exists now is one they could never have predicted, because it was born in places they never would have survived. Every betrayal became a brick. Every insult, a blueprint. Every time they laughed at your silence, you were sketching the foundation of a comeback so loud it didn't need words. You weren't plotting revenge. You were preparing evolution. That's why they can't stand it. Because it's not about you surviving. It's about the fact that you came back upgraded. You don't chase, you don't explain, you don't even acknowledge them. You just live. And that quiet existence burns deeper than any revenge speech ever could. You're not their villain, you're their lesson. You're the mirror they can't look into without seeing every mistake they made. And that's the true punishment. Not losing you, but knowing they created the very version of you that now leaves them restless every single night. Now here's the truth they'll never say out loud. You became the story they can't escape. You're the plot twist that rewrote the script, the final boss in a game they thought they already won. Every time your name comes up, the air changes, conversations pause, eyes shift, because even your presence, spoken or silent, demands attention. They flinch at the sound of you because deep down they know they lost. They had their chance. They had the upper hand, and they fumbled it. Now every win you collect is a reminder of how badly they miscalculated. You don't haunt them out of revenge. You haunt them because you're proof. Proof that the one they counted out is now the one they can't stop counting on. Proof that the dirt they threw only grew gardens. Proof that their biggest fear came true. You rose and you're still rising. And the cruelest, funniest part, you're not even thinking about them. You're not watching them. You're not competing with them. You're just living, glowing, winning. But every time they close their eyes, there you are, smiling, thriving, untouchable. That's the nightmare. And you're the legend.